All right, let's get into it. Today, we're breaking down a philosophy that's become a symbol for ultimate focus and drive, the Mamba Mentality, from the one and only Kobe Bryant.
This single quote, something he actually got from an English teacher, wasn't just some catchy phrase for Kobe. No, this was a fundamental rule for his entire life. It's really the perfect way to start understanding a mindset that was built on one simple idea. You always keep moving forward. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to look at 5 core pillars: a singular purpose, the excitement of failure, the obsessive process, the mind as a weapon, and finally how he completely redefined greatness. Okay, let's dive in. So it all started with a single goal. But look, we're not talking about some vague New Year's resolution here. This was a deal he literally made with himself. And he made it early, with this absolute, unshakable clarity. Think about that. 13. At an age when most of us are just trying to survive middle school, his entire life's mission was already crystal clear. He knew exactly what he was going to be, and that one decision would guide every single choice he made from then on.
I mean, just listen to how absolute that is. It wasn't just a dream, right? It became a filter for his entire life. Every book he read, every person he talked to, every single thing he did, it had to serve that one goal. If it didn't make him a better basketball player, he just didn't have time for it. Simple as that.
Okay, so you've got this massive, singular purpose. But what happens when you hit a wall? What about the setbacks and the losses? Well, his approach was completely counterintuitive. He didn't just put up with failure, he actually welcomed it.
Yeah, before all the championships, before the legend status, he started at absolute zero. Can you even imagine being a kid who loves basketball more than anything and going an entire summer league without scoring a single point? Not one. Not even a lucky shot. But here's the thing, and this is so important. That moment of what could have been a crushing failure was met with total, unconditional support from his dad. That right there is the key. It gave him the psychological security, that confidence to fail without being afraid. The pressure was gone. All that was left was the work.
And this is where he just completely flips the script on what it means to lose. For him, a loss wasn't a verdict on who he was. It was a roadmap. A loss wasn't a dead end, it was a diagnostic tool that told him exactly what he needed to work on next. And that's why it was exciting. It gave him a clear path to get better.
So, how do you actually turn that mindset into real-world results? Well, a purpose is one thing, but you need a system to make it happen. And for Kobe, that system wasn't obsessive. It was a relentless and honestly, a brilliant process.
He didn't try to do everything all at once. He took this incredibly complex game and broke it down into a menu of skills. He would literally dedicate months at a time to mastering just one thing, like shooting, before he even thought about moving to the next item on the menu. It was so methodical, so patient.
And this process, it wasn't just about practicing skills in an empty gym. No, it was about direct, head-to-head competition. In high school, he got a player ranking magazine, found every single name ranked ahead of him, and created a literal kill list. His whole mission was to hunt each one of them down on the court and systematically check them off, one by one. It's just wild.
And this really shows you his advantage. While other players, maybe with more raw talent, were just relying on their athleticism, Kobe was building this unshakable foundation of skill, of fundamentals, and of strategy. And over time, that disciplined process didn't just catch up to natural talent, it completely surpassed it.
So we've talked about the physical work, we've talked about the process, but beyond all of that, his greatest weapon was his mind. He conditioned it to be absolutely unbreakable, and he used it to push through unimaginable pain and to psychologically dominate his opponents.
This right here, this was the fuel. This deep-seated fear of regret is what powered his legendary work ethic. It's why he wouldn't take days off. It's why he wouldn't vacation with his rivals. The pain of all that work was nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the potential pain of looking back and wishing he had done more. His career is just filled with these stories of him pushing through extreme pain, playing with a terrible back injury against one of the league's best players, playing entire games with a high fever, but all of that was just building up to one of his most legendary and most telling moments ever. So let's set the scene. It's a critical game. The playoffs are literally on the line. Every possession matters. And then, in a split second, the unthinkable happens.
An Achilles tear. You have to understand, for most athletes, this is it. It's not just a season-ending injury. It can be a career ender. The pain is excruciating. But what Kobe did next, well, it tells you everything you need to know about his mindset.
He didn't get carried off the court. He walked to the free throw line to take his shots. So the real question is, how? How do you tolerate that kind of pain? Well, it's not just about being physically tough. It's about a mental hierarchy. In that moment of intense pain, what's more important?
And his house on fire analogy explains it all. He said, if your hamstring is pulled, but your house is on fire with your family inside, you forget about the pain and you run. You do what's necessary because something way more important is at stake. For him, the game was the house on fire. The pain just became secondary.
And this all leads us to the very top of his philosophy. All the work, all the pain, that singular focus. Eventually, it all transformed from a personal goal into a lasting legacy that was meant for other people.
You see, for him, true greatness wasn't really about the trophies, the rings, or the stats. It was about creating a chain reaction. It was about living and working in a way that inspires the person next to you, who then goes on to inspire the person next to them. That's how you create something that lasts forever.
And he saw this as the ultimate challenge, not just for himself, but for every single one of us. The goal isn't just to achieve your own purpose, but to live in a way that your journey empowers other people on theirs.
So what's the big takeaway here? The Mamba mentality is so much more than a sports philosophy. It's a blueprint for achieving excellence in literally any field. It's about purpose, it's about process, and it's about perspective. And really, it all starts by answering that one simple but incredibly powerful question for yourself.